I, 25F, cut contact with my brother Nathan, 35M, after our mom Bethany passed away from pancreatic cancer 2 years ago. Since then, my family has been pressuring me to forgive him, but I just can't. The situation is complex and goes back many years, so I'll try to explain everything. Growing up, Nathan was always the golden child despite his many issues. He struggled with alcoholism since his teens and has multiple DUIs on his record. Our parents, especially our dad Martin, 60M, enabled his behavior by constantly bailing him out of trouble. When Nathan got his first DUI at 19, Dad hired an expensive lawyer and got the charges reduced. The second time it happened, Dad paid for his rehab, which Nathan left after just 2 weeks. By his third DUI, it had become a pattern. Nathan would mess up, and Dad would swoop in to fix everything. Mom tried to be stricter with Nathan, but Dad always undermined her efforts. She wanted Nathan to face consequences, but Dad insisted that family should always stick together. This caused a lot of tension in their marriage. I remember countless nights hearing them argue about Nathan's behavior and Dad's enabling. When Mom got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, my boyfriend Jacob, 27M, and I immediately quit our jobs and moved back home to help care for her. We were living in Seattle at the time, and moving back meant giving up our apartment and career opportunities, but Mom needed us. Nathan was already living rent-free at our parents' house with his girlfriend Diana, 32F, at the time. He had lost his job as a graphic designer 6 months earlier and claimed he was focusing on his art career. Instead of helping with Mom's care, Nathan would start arguments with her even during her chemo sessions. He'd show up drunk and make everything about himself. Once, Mom was severely dehydrated after a particularly rough chemo session, and Nathan started complaining about how her illness was affecting his creativity. He actually blamed her for his art not selling well because he was too stressed about her health to paint properly. It got so bad that Dad bought Nathan and Diana a house just to get them away from Mom during her treatment. The house was only 10 minutes away, but Nathan visited even less after moving out. Meanwhile, Dad was still paying all their bills and giving them spending money. The rest of us, Dad, my sister Katie, 30F, Jacob, and I, worked together to support Mom through her illness. We took turns accompanying her to appointments, managing her medications, and handling household tasks. Jacob learned to cook Mom's favorite meals in smaller portions that she could manage during treatment. Katie, who had a young baby at the time, would bring him over just to make Mom smile. Nathan would only appear occasionally, usually intoxicated, and somehow managed to make the situation worse. He started selling these mediocre paintings online, using Mom's cancer story to guilt people into buying them. His artist bio talked about how watching his mother's battle with cancer inspired his work, even though he was barely present during her treatment. He even had the audacity to ask Mom to pose for reference photos while she was sick, claiming he wanted to create a series about resilience. Everything came to a head last Christmas. Mom was too sick to come downstairs, so she stayed in bed. I spent the whole day cooking and preparing for the family gathering. I wanted Mom to at least hear us celebrating and feel included, so I planned everything carefully: her favorite holiday music, traditional family recipes, and a white elephant gift exchange that she could participate in through video chat from her room. Nathan showed up 3 hours late and already drunk. He hijacked a gift exchange I had organized, changing all the rules and making inappropriate jokes. His idea of a funny gift was a fart spray that he sprayed on everyone while laughing. Some of the younger cousins started crying because the smell was so bad. Someone sprayed it upstairs near Mom's room, making her nauseous. Nathan completely lost it and started screaming at all the kids, accusing them of trying to make Mom sick. I finally snapped and told him to stop screaming, sober up, and face the fact that he was contributing nothing to help Mom. I brought up how he had missed her last 3 doctor's appointments despite promising to drive her, how he never bothered to learn her medication schedule, and how he was using her illness to promote his art while doing nothing to actually support her. He went on a drunken rampage, shoving guests and even pushing Dad, who had recently had heart surgery. He knocked over the Christmas tree and broke several of Mom's cherished ornaments. Mom heard everything from upstairs. That night, after everyone left, she broke down crying in my arms and said she would never forgive Nathan for what he'd done. She passed away just a month later, and Nathan didn't even visit her in the hospital during her final days because he was too busy preparing for an art show. Nathan never properly apologized for his behavior. He sent identical half-hearted notes to me and Katie but continued to justify his actions. The notes were clearly copied and pasted. He didn't even bother to change our names at the top. He quit his job to focus full-time on his art, relying on Diana and Dad for financial support. He still uses Mom's illness and death to promote his artwork online, calling it his tribute to her struggle. His latest exhibition was titled The Mother's Journey, even though he was barely present during her actual journey. Most of our family has somehow forgiven him. They think I'm being unreasonable for maintaining no contact. My grandmother keeps saying Mom would want me to forgive Nathan and that I'm disrespecting her memory. Dad enables him by sending money and defending his behavior. Even Katie, who initially supported my decision, now says I should give him another chance for the sake of family unity. I recently learned Nathan plans to attend our upcoming New Year's Eve party at Dad's house. Just thinking about seeing him has brought back all the anger and hurt. The family keeps prioritizing his feelings over the pain he caused Mom in her final months. They've forgotten how he made her last Christmas a nightmare and how he abandoned her when she needed him most. I don't want to reconcile with someone who showed zero remorse or respect for our dying mother. Update 1: Things have gotten even worse since my last post. The New Year's Eve party turned into a complete disaster, and now the entire family is in chaos. Let me explain everything that happened. I initially planned to skip the party, but Jacob convinced me to go, saying we shouldn't let Nathan drive us away from family events. We arrived early to help Dad set up, and everything was fine until Nathan showed up 2 hours late, completely wasted. He brought several bottles of expensive whiskey, claiming they were gifts from his art collectors. I later found out he had used Dad's credit card to buy them. I tried my best to avoid Nathan throughout the party, staying in the kitchen with Katie and some cousins. But around 11 p.m., he cornered me near the bathroom. He reeked of alcohol and could barely stand straight. He started ranting about how I was turning the family against him and ruining his reputation as an artist. When I tried to walk away, he grabbed my arm so hard it left bruises. Jacob saw what was happening and intervened. He pushed Nathan away from me, telling him to back off. Nathan stumbled and fell, knocking over a side table with Mom's favorite vase on it. The vase shattered, and Nathan immediately started screaming that Jacob had assaulted him. Diana rushed over and started yelling at Jacob, claiming he had always been jealous of Nathan's artistic talent. She said Jacob resented Nathan because he was a successful artist while Jacob had to quit his job to help with Mom. This was ridiculous because Jacob quit his job willingly to help Mom, while Nathan had lost his job due to showing up drunk. Dad came to see what the commotion was about, and of course, he sided with Nathan. He actually had the nerve to tell Jacob to leave his house because he had attacked Nathan. I tried to explain what really happened, but Dad wouldn't listen. He kept saying Nathan was going through a difficult time and needed family support, not criticism. Several relatives who had witnessed Nathan grabbing me spoke up in our defense, but Dad wouldn't hear it. Jacob and I left, and to my surprise, about half the party guests followed us out in support. As we were leaving, I could hear Nathan shouting that I had ruined another family gathering, just like I ruined his relationship with Mom. The next morning, things got even worse. Nathan had gone on a social media rampage overnight. He posted a lengthy rant about how I was trying to destroy his art career out of jealousy. He claimed I had always been envious of his talent and his special bond with Mom. The truth is, his special bond with Mom consisted of guilt-tripping her and starting fights when she was too weak from chemo to defend herself. What really pushed me over the edge was that he included photos in his post, intimate photos of Mom in her hospital bed that none of us knew existed. There were pictures of her sleeping, pictures of her during chemo, all clearly taken without her knowledge or consent. He was using these private moments of her suffering to promote his artwork and gain sympathy from his followers. I was furious. After consulting with Katie, I decided to expose Nathan's true colors. I posted screenshots of his DUI records and court documents showing the thousands of dollars Dad had spent bailing him out over the years. I shared screenshots of the identical apology notes he had sent to me and Katie, showing how little effort he put into actually making amends. I also posted security camera footage from Christmas showing his drunken rampage. The family immediately split into two camps. Several aunts and uncles called me, saying they had no idea things were this bad and expressing their support. Others, including grandmother and Dad, are furious at me for airing dirty laundry publicly. They say I'm just trying to hurt Nathan and that a sister should protect her brother, not expose his mistakes. Katie is caught in the middle. She agrees that Nathan's behavior is unacceptable, but she thinks I went too far by posting everything online. Diana has been calling mutual friends, telling them I'm lying about everything to ruin Nathan's reputation because I'm jealous of his success. Dad threatened to cut me off financially if I didn't take down the posts, not realizing I haven't taken money from him since I started working at 18. The posts have affected Nathan's art sales, and he's been sending me increasingly angry messages from different accounts since I blocked his main one. He's now claiming that the stress I'm causing him has driven him to drink more, so anything he does while drunk is actually my fault. I don't regret exposing the truth, but I'm exhausted by all the drama. Jacob has been incredibly supportive, reminding me that none of this is my fault. Some relatives have suggested family counseling, but I'm not interested in reconciling with Nathan. You can't fix a relationship with someone who refuses to acknowledge their own toxic behavior. Update 2: The situation with Nathan has taken an unexpected turn. Katie called me last week with some shocking information about Nathan's art business. After my last post exposing his behavior, she started looking more closely at his online art sales, and what she found was disturbing. Nathan had been creating multiple fake buyer accounts to purchase his own artwork. He would list his paintings for high prices, then use these fake accounts to create bidding wars, driving up the prices even more. Once a piece sold for an inflated price, he would cancel the fake bids and pressure real buyers to match the highest fake bid, claiming other collectors were interested. He convinced Dad to invest a significant amount in his art business by showing him these fake sales records. Dad, believing Nathan finally had a legitimate career, kept pouring money into materials, studio space, and marketing. Nathan also got several relatives to invest, promising huge returns once he became a recognized artist. Diana discovered the truth accidentally. She found credit card statements showing Nathan had maxed out their cards buying his own artwork through these fake accounts. When she confronted him about it, he tried to convince her it was a normal marketing strategy to create buzz around his work. The confrontation turned ugly when she threatened to tell Dad the truth. According to Katie, who heard this from Diana directly, Nathan got drunk and completely trashed their home studio. He destroyed dozens of his paintings, including several that real buyers had already paid for. Worse, he damaged some of Mom's belongings that Dad had given him after she passed, her favorite reading chair, photo albums, and some jewelry she had wanted him to give to his future daughter. Diana finally hit her breaking point and left him. She reached out to me, apologizing for her past behavior and revealing more details about Nathan's scams. Apparently, he had been forging Dad's signature on checks to withdraw money from the joint account Dad had set up for his art business. Diana provided copies of these forged checks to my email. I showed the evidence to Dad, hoping he would finally see Nathan for who he is. Instead, Dad insisted we need to help Nathan through this difficult time. He refused to press charges for the forged checks, saying Nathan needs support, not punishment. He's even talking about refinancing his house to help Nathan pay off his debts. Meanwhile, Nathan is trying to sell the house Dad bought them to cover his debts. He's already found a buyer, even though Dad paid for most of the house and Diana should have rights to it too. When I pointed this out to Dad, he just said he wants Nathan to handle his problems like an adult. The irony of this statement coming from someone who has enabled Nathan's behavior for decades is not lost on me. Katie is torn about the whole situation. She agrees Nathan's actions are wrong but thinks we should give him one last chance to get help. She suggested we all meet with an addiction counselor, but I refused. I'm done watching Nathan manipulate everyone and face no consequences. Some family members have started asking me about their investments in Nathan's art business after seeing his erratic behavior at recent family events. I've been honest with them about what Diana revealed, which has only increased the divide in the family. Those who lost money are furious, while others still defend him, saying he must have been desperate to resort to such measures. The latest development is that Nathan has started a new art series he calls Betrayal in Blood, obviously aimed at me and Diana. He's been posting previews online, and they're disturbing, abstract paintings with copies of my social media posts about him worked into the canvas, covered in angry red paint. Dad thinks this shows he's processing his emotions through art and should be encouraged. I'm still maintaining my distance from the whole situation, but it's difficult when family members keep calling to ask me to help fix things. They seem to think that because I'm the one who exposed his scams, I'm somehow responsible for helping him recover from the fallout. I've had to block several relatives who won't stop pushing me to reconcile with him. Update 3: Things have gotten pretty bad since my last update. After Diana left, Nathan completely spiraled out of control. He lost the house because he couldn't keep up with payments, despite Dad trying to help him financially. He moved back in with Dad, turning the garage into his new art studio. His artwork has taken a darker turn. He now claims his pieces represent his journey through addiction and loss, still using Mom's story and our family drama to market them. Last month, our grandmother passed away unexpectedly. In her will, she left her jewelry collection to be split between Katie and me. Most of these pieces were family heirlooms, including Mom's engagement ring that she had given to grandmother for safekeeping before she passed. However, grandmother added a condition that we could only receive our share if we reconciled with Nathan. She even specified that we needed to sign a document promising to maintain a relationship with him. I was angry but not surprised. Even in death, grandmother was trying to manipulate us into forgiving Nathan. I declined my portion immediately, telling the executor I wouldn't be emotionally blackmailed into a relationship with someone who exploited our mother's death for profit. Katie, on the other hand, accepted her share and is now trying to rebuild a relationship with Nathan. Dad's financial situation has gotten worse from supporting Nathan. He's had to take out a second mortgage on his house, but he keeps defending Nathan, saying he's showing real progress in his art. The truth is, Nathan hasn't sold a single legitimate piece since his scam was exposed. He spends his days in the garage, drinking and painting, while Dad pays for everything. The family dynamics have shifted significantly. Those who lost money in Nathan's art scam have stopped speaking to him, but they're also angry at me for exposing it. They say if I had kept quiet, they could have at least sold their pieces to other unsuspecting buyers. I find this mentality disgusting. Katie has been trying to play peacemaker. She visits Nathan regularly and sends me photos of his progress, mostly half-finished canvases and empty bottles. She says he's really sorry and has been asking about me, but I've seen this pattern before. His remorse only appears when he needs something. Dad keeps saying I'm being cruel and that Nathan is still my brother. He recently sent me a long email about how Mom would be heartbroken to see her children estranged. I didn't respond. Mom was heartbroken watching her son exploit her illness for attention and profit. She told me herself that she'd never forgive him, but everyone seems to have forgotten that. I've made peace with my decision to stay away. Some relatives have stopped inviting me to family events because Nathan will be there and they want to avoid drama. That's fine with me. Jacob and I are building our own life, surrounded by people who respect our boundaries. We're planning to move to another state for a job opportunity, and honestly, the distance will be welcome. Nathan still posts about me sometimes on his art social media, painting himself as the victim of a jealous sister who destroyed his career. His followers send me hate messages occasionally, but I've learned to ignore them. Some things can't be forgiven, and I won't pretend everything is okay just to make others comfortable. The family can enable Nathan all they want, but they'll have to do it without me.